more time.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for spending your time with yours truly to discuss New Orleans Saints. On this edition, we're going to be talking about the trade deadline. Now, as you all know, that the trade deadline for the NFL season is coming upon us. And should the Saints try to make some trades during or before the trade deadline? And I'm also going to be talking about who I feel like would be a good replacement for Dennis Allen as defensive coordinator. But I want to say thank you so much for taking the time out to spend it with me here on the State of the Saints podcast. Special shout out to all those that are in the chat. Shouts out to Jerry Poor, Official Young Nola, Cole, Ramsey, Dada, Ray. Thank y'all so much for being a part of the State of the Saints podcast. You know, the trade deadline story kind of came across my mind because I was reading an article, and one of the articles that I read involved defensive end Marcus Davenport. And they were saying that Marcus Davenport should be a potential trade that the Saints need to think about making, trading him to another team. And as I chuckled as I read the article, because even though, you know, I'm not the biggest Marcus Davenport fan, you know what I'm saying? I do support the guy as far as, you know what I'm saying, feeling like he has all the upside in the world. And I think a lot of people are just kind of frustrated with his injury history. I don't feel like the Saints need to be considered trading Marcus Davenport. But there are several guys out there that could come to the New Orleans Saints that can make an immediate impact. I seen that one person that they brought up was a wide receiver, AJ Greene. I think that ship has sailed. I know AJ Greene was a hot commodity a couple years ago when we felt like the Saints needed a number 2 receiver. AJ Greene name came up, and people were like, man, we need to get AJ Greene. We need to get AJ Greene. Look, we all know that the Cincinnati Bengals are one of the most pettiest organizations in the world. They do not like to relinquish any of their players. You know, Carson Palmer had to basically retire in order for them to even try to send him to the Oakland Raiders at the time. And AJ Greene, I feel so bad for him because it seems to me like AJ is never going to really get a true opportunity to get a shot at a Super Bowl title. And around the time that he decides to I guess, part ways with the Cincinnati Bengals, they might see him as damaged goods, or a team might see him as damaged goods, and he may not get that opportunity to go to a credible team. But there is somebody out there that I feel like the Saints could possibly go out there and try to trade for, and that's Patrick Peterson, man. I'm still on a Patrick Peterson train. I still feel like Patrick Peterson would be a great asset to the New Orleans Saints. I still feel like he would want to come and play for the New Orleans Saints. And even though we see the Arizona Cardinals destroy the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football, I still feel like the Arizona Cardinals aren't a Super Bowl contender. Okay, they might make the playoffs. They might make the NFC West very interesting. But I think Patrick Peterson, the age that he's at right now, he understands that his football life is winding down, and he wants to be a contender. And we all know that Patrick Peterson coming to the Saints defense, it will give them instant credibility. You have Lattimore, you got Jenkins, and then you got Patrick Peterson, man, out there as well. I think that would be somebody that would contribute right away. I think that would be a good look for the New Orleans Saints. And also if they would go out and try to trade for a linebacker, man, somebody that can come in that can play out opposite of Demario Davis. You know, I love A.J. Klein, but sometimes he gets missing in action. You know, you be looking for him, can't find him. But I think that the linebacker core will probably get a little bit better now that we have Kiko Alonso coming back within the next couple weeks. Kiko Alonso, he's one of those guys, man, that's often hurt as well. But Kiko Alonso is a really good linebacker, and he's a good complement of Demario Davis as long as he stays healthy. So I feel like the Saints need to go in that direction, get a linebacker, maybe try to trade for Patrick Peterson type. I was very upset that the Saints didn't try to go get Drake Kirkpatrick in the offseason. Y'all seen what he did last night, caught an interception off Andy Dalton, which was kind of crazy. Former teammates, Andy Dalton getting intercepted by a former teammate, Drake Kirkpatrick. But I just think that the Saints need to get a little bit more stout in the secondary, man. And I think that the Saints' issues, would kind of subside if they was to get a guy that could play right away. Okay, all you got to do is if you were to sign Patrick Peterson, is to tell him to play man-to-man coverage, and I think he would do a really good job until he figures out the defense. But as far as like with the pass rush and everything like that, I don't think the Saints need to go out here and try to aggressively try to make a trade for a pass rusher. I feel like the Saints can get you can rush the passer. They did a good job against the Chargers getting pressure on Justin Herbert. The thing about it is it's just the secondary, man. The secondary is the issue because if the front four can't get pressure on the quarterback for one play, it's going to be a big play. So the Saints got to find a way to try to tighten that up in the secondary because now we're coming to the midway through we're coming to the middle of the season, and the mistakes got to be limited. They are going to have to be limited because teams are starting to find out their identity, and the Saints can't just be out there still going through the same growing pains. Okay, I mean, it's only so much that we can take and accept. I mean, it's only so much you can do for the whole world realizes that's who you are. That's what you are. And right now, the Saints secondary is very, very suspect to say the least. So I do think that the Saints, if they were to make some trades during the deadline, I think it should involve the secondary and maybe a linebacker. But I would love to hear from you. I'm going to go to the chat right now and see what you all have to say and answer some of your questions. The Sports Talk says, I think a trade for Edmonds would be nice. Yeah. Edmonds, that would be a really good move, the linebacker. I think if you're talking about for the from the Buffalo Bills, if I'm not mistaken, I think that would really be a really good look. I know the other Edmonds also plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we actually had an Edmonds, one of the brothers. He was the running back for the New Orleans Saints. So I'm not sure which Edmonds you're talking about here, but they all are good in their own right. You know what I'm saying? And I would love to have one of the Edmonds brothers who actually plays linebacker to come to the New Orleans Saints. I think that would give them credibility as well. Klein on the Bills. I think that ship is sailed, man. I love AJ Klein. I really do. I know he had a forced fumble on Travis Kelce on Monday night, but I don't think so, man. But I think AJ Klein is a very smart player. I think the Saints, I wish they would have kept him, man. But we all know that this is a business at the end of the day, and AJ has to do what's best for his family. I have no problem with that. Dalton says, our problem with linebackers, we see 2 linebackers on the field instead of 3. Yeah, that's because they don't trust Zach Bond enough in order to put him on the field consistently. Now, Zach Bond did play in the game, man, on Monday night. I don't know if y'all noticed that or not, but Zach Bond was in the game, but it was mostly on third down. It was mostly in blitz packages. They had him on the field trying to rush the passer. So they are trying to get him on the field. I don't know what the real issue is. I don't know what he's showing at practice. I don't know if he's showing enough from the linebacker position for them to trust him being on the field. But, man, you got to figure out what you got with the kid, man. If he goes out there and he's not, playing up the snuff, then, just make the corrections, man. But don't just go out there and just, don't have him in the lineup of the rotation. I mean, give the guy opportunity to go out there and prove himself. Sometimes guys aren't good practice players, but when you put them out there on the field, they flash. I mean, that's just the way it goes sometimes. Klein plays for the Bills. Yeah, he does. RJ Mason says, yeah, we need to get some good players for defense. Yeah, I don't think the defense is like a real huge issue, man. I really don't, man. I think that the front seven of the New Orleans Saints, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as what's a couple of linebackers, probably like I say about 3 of their linebackers, and their front four is really good. It's the secondary that's the issue. We know that the front four can get pressure. We know the linebackers can tackle. The secondary is the issue. It's what happens when the Saints can't get pressure on quarterbacks. When they go up against some of those elite offensive linemen that's not going to allow too many sacks to their quarterback. That's where it becomes very, very troubling. So I feel like the Saints need to focus on trying to fix the secondary rather than making the secondary defensive scheme a little bit more simplistic, or just trying to make sure that the right pieces are put in place, because I mean, there's no margin for error right now. I mean, the Saints are in this division right now. This is a close race. It's not like we talking about the NFC East or something like that, where the Saints can flex their dominance because they're just that much better. Or even last year when the Saints had the division wrapped up by Thanksgiving. This is a division that is wide open, and the Saints can't really afford to be making these type of mistakes this late in the season, because once again, these teams are starting to find themselves. They're starting to make the necessary corrections in order for them to make that big run. And it'll be sad that the Saints can't get it together, and this team has been together for the longest. It would be really, really sad. Giving a shout out to Jerry Poor, and they bringing Crawley back. What the F? Yeah, I really don't understand that. I really don't, man. I just feel like that's another lazy coaching move. The Saints are really lazy when it comes to the coaching. They're always trying to go and fire guys that used to play for the Saints. I just feel like there's a reason why you got rid of those guys. There was a reason why you decided to go in a different direction. There was a reason why in the middle of the season you decided to go get Eli Apple. There was a reason why in the middle of the season you decided to go get Janoris Jenkins. It's because you felt like the guys in the secondary were not good enough. Okay, I mean, I don't understand by bringing them back. What is that going to mean? I guess like for depth, I guess it's like less teaching you have to teach a guy, but I don't know, man. I just feel like just get other guys on the field, man. Get these guys coached up, and maybe these guys can be the answer to the question that you've been trying to ask for years. Okay, I just don't understand like why a young player like Keith Washington can't get any snaps. I don't understand it. I don't understand like why some of these other young players, like Adam Troutman or what I'm saying, Zach Bourne can't get any opportunities. I just don't understand it. Like I think that's a reflection of the Saints coaching, that these guys have been here this long and you can't find like a role for them nowhere. You can't utilize their strengths. I mean, it makes me question their ability to coach. Do they have to get the same usual suspects? And it's not like these guys will like tear it up at any time. It just, these guys are like just warm bodies on a team. You can probably go out here and get somebody that can make an impact, a guy that can go out here and do some damage. I mean, I don't understand it at all. Guys, calm down. I'm pretty sure he meant Thor, the Alex dude. I forgot his last name. Alex Azaloni. Yeah. But AJ Klein, you know what I'm saying? Like AJ Klein was somebody that was somebody mentioned AJ Klein, but yeah, he played for the Buffalo Bills. I don't understand why the Saints would go after Patrick Peterson. He's as bad with drawing penalties as the DBs already on the Saints roster. Leave Patrick Peterson in the desert. No, I wouldn't leave Patrick Peterson in the desert. You know what I'm saying? I think that Patrick Peterson, I think that he would be a good asset. He's one of those guys that you can line up on the outside and line up in the slot. I mean, I just feel like he can bring something to the team. I mean, he definitely can. So should have brought in Patrick Peterson. Hey TJ, did you get my email about the Saints playing at the Superdome instead of Tiger Stadium? No, Jerry, I didn't get your email, but I did read about that story. It seems like the Saints right now are trying to make a proposal to Mayor LaToya Cantrell about trying to get the Superdome this time at 35% capacity, and the proposal actually has the backing from the auctioneer's health hospital. So that's no surprise to me. And I do feel like there's kind of a conflict of interest, in my opinion. Auctioneers are a sponsor of the New Orleans Saints. Anytime y'all see those interviews, y'all always see auctioneer in the background. It's because they support the New Orleans Saints. They sponsor the New Orleans Saints. So, of course, if the Saints go to them and ask them about, supporting them as they try to get fans back into the stands, of course, auctioneer is going to say that. Now, no disrespect to auctioneer, it's one of the best hospitals, not only in the state of Louisiana, but in the entire country. I mean, people can attest to that. But I just feel like that's a conflict of interest. Of course, auctioneer is going to support the New Orleans Saints because they sponsor them. But I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to make any type of impact. Governor John Bell Edwards, he really didn't like the idea, and I don't think Latoya Cantrell is going to like it. And I want to keep my fingers crossed that they might allow some fans into the stands this Sunday versus the Carolina Panthers, but I don't think it's going to be at 25%. I really think that looking at some of these numbers that's going on with COVID, looking at some of the deaths that are going on, the numbers are going up. I think in the United States, they're averaging about 50,000 cases per day. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty sad, about 1,000 deaths per day. I think when you're looking at those numbers, they become extremely alarming. And sometimes you have to protect yourself. You got to protect others from themselves. Okay. I said it on the last edition of the State of the Saints podcast. The only thing we want to do is we want to cheer for the Saints. And sometimes when we want to do something so badly, we don't think about the threat they may come with some of the decisions that we're trying to make. And the governor and the mayor are trying to make sure that they do what's in the best interest of the people. And because that's their job, okay? It to protect us from things that we can and cannot see. And I feel like they're doing a really good job, man. And I can't really get mad at these people for not allowing people back in the Superdome. I wish I could be one of those people that's getting angry, but I feel like my anger would be disingenuous and it would come from a selfish place. It would come from a place of me being a fan of the New Orleans Saints and me feeling like the reason why the Saints are struggling right now is because they got lack of support. And maybe by me screaming to the top of my lungs and losing my voice at a Saints game on Sunday, sitting in the stands, maybe that can help the team become better. But at the same time, am I willing to risk my own health and well-being just for me to cheer for the Saints? I don't know. I don't think so. Okay. I mean, honestly, I don't think you would want to walk into a house that's on fire, would you? You wouldn't want to walk into a house that you see that's ablazing. So why would you try to walk into a place where you know there's a possibility that you might catch a deadly virus? I don't think that you want to do that. So I can't really get mad at the officials for doing it, but I also can't get mad at the Saints for trying to do what's in the best interest of them to get some type of competitive advantage. I mean, that's what the coach's job is. That's what the franchise job is, right? Every week we go through game plans. We talk about keys to victory. The Saints are trying to get a competitive advantage over the opposition. So having fans in the stands is one way they feel like they can have some type of competitive edge. But we got to make sure that we're being safe in the process, folks. We definitely do. DLP 2600 says, I would also like another safety. DLP 2600, I mean, I feel like the Saints already have the other safety, and that's DJ Swearinger. He doesn't play enough for me. I don't know why they still around that thing, messing around with Janoris Jenkins. Not Janoris Jenkins, Malcolm Jenkins, excuse me. Malcolm Jenkins is a shell of himself. Not that I can't say that Jenkins don't have nothing to bring to the table, but at this stage, I think DJ Swearinger is better than Malcolm Jenkins. I really do. When DJ Swearinger is on the field, you can tell he's out there. I think he's better than PJ Williams, but for some apparent reason, the Saints just love themselves some PJ Williams. It just, I don't know, man. They need to put Swearinger on the field. Tremaine Edwards. Okay, thank you. Okay, that clears that up for me. Yeah, Tremaine Edwards a really good linebacker, good young linebacker, a good at stopping the run, good sideline to sidelines guy. Can make some really good tackles, but I don't know. I don't think they're gonna be willing to let him go. I really don't. No way in the world. They're not letting that young kid go. He's too good. He's saying you meant to say Azzaloni earlier, but you said Klein. I don't know. Did I say Klein because somebody mentioned AJ Klein? Or did somebody, you know what I'm saying? Did I say Klein when I was talking about Demario Davis and Alex Anzalone? Okay. I don't know, man. Somebody brought up AJ Klein, and I know I mentioned him stripping, you know what I'm saying, stripping a pass or something like that from Travis Kelsey. So I don't know. If I did say AJ Klein when I was talking about Demario Davis and Alex Anzalone, then I apologize. But yeah, that's what I was talking about. It ticks me off how each week we as fans are yelling, stick to the run and fix the secondary, and the following week it's the same old story. It's like we're afraid of change. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the New Orleans Saints, they need to start running the football, need to be a little bit more aggressive at running the football. I've always been a supporter of running the football, but for some apparent reason, I just don't think that Sean Payton has an interest in it. Uh, Anytime your running back has to go to you and say, "Run it till they stop us, run it till they stop us," it's very alarming to me because I don't feel like Sean Payton would have did that, and I feel like the scheme and the strategy is out. Like I think teams understand the Saints might start being red hot running the football at the beginning of the game, but they just holding their breath and waiting for Sean Payton to try to get away from the run, to try to grand strand, to throw the football all over the place, and that just plays right into the hands of the defense. I just think that teams don't believe that the Saints are going to be aggressively running the football consistently. I feel like that 42 carries in that Detroit game was an anomaly. And I just feel like if the Saints were actually to run the football consistently, because they have the offensive line to run the football, they do. You know what I'm saying? Like I just think that they have guys who can move the pile. You know what I'm saying? That can push the defenders back in order for Alvin Kamara to average about 5 yards and Latavius Murray to average about 5 yards. And I think that going forward, the Saints are going to have to commit to the run if they want to win some of these games going forward. You're going to have to run the football against the Chicago Bears. You're going to have to run the football against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you're going to have to run the football against the Carolina Panthers. I mean, it's just as simple as that. You're going to have to run the football. You cannot go out there with Drew Brees on the mind, throwing the football all over the place, throwing the ball 36 to 40 some odd times, and think that you're going to win a football game consistently. You might win the game, you know what I'm saying, if it's close and all that kind of stuff. If Drew Brees do that, if a team is beating you and you have to throw yourself back into the game, it might make it competitive, but you cannot consistently go out there and try to throw the football all over the place. It's not going to end pretty, folks. It's not. The Saints need to get something on the Rooney family or whoever the GM is for the Steelers and make a trade to get TJ Watt. Man, that is not happening. Good luck with that. TJ Watt is the best player right now on the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I don't know what's in the Watt water up there, you know what I'm saying, in that country town that they grew up in, but I think everybody needs to drink that. I mean, those brothers can play. Okay. JJ is a beast, and his brother is a beast as well, man. I mean, I watched both of them at Wisconsin. They both were dominating players, and on the next level, they're even more dominant. So, shouts out to TJ Watt. I enjoy watching him play. Back in 2018, when the Saints played the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, he was all over the field. So, there's no way in the world that the Rooney family is going to let that guy go. I mean, a lot of people are comparing this guy to Jack Lambert, you know what I'm saying, like back in the day. So anytime you're getting mentioned with Jack Lambert, mine is having all 32 of your teeth. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty high praise right there. I think we should move Davenport inside and keep Trey on the outside. Yeah, that would be a good move, but the only issue is you have some really good defensive tackles in there. I mean, would you want to put Davenport on the inside as well as Malcolm Roach has been playing? Would you want to put him on the inside as well as Malcolm Brown and Sheldon Rankins has been playing? I don't think so. I think that the Saints defensive tackles is probably the unsung heroes of the team. There's a reason why the Saints haven't allowed 100-yard rush in a while, and there's a reason why these guys can't get any penetration up the middle. You have to keep that in mind. So Maybe moving him to the inside from time to time would be fine. I've been looking and noticing that the Saints have actually been switching Cam Jordan with Marcus Davenport from each side. Cam normally plays on the left side. On the right side, excuse me, and Davenport usually be on the left side and vice versa. They've been kind of switching it up. So I really would be I would be skeptical about doing that, especially since the defensive tackles have been playing really, really well. What you think about Marcus Davenport, TJ? You think we should trade him? No, I said it at the beginning, RJ. At the beginning of the podcast. No, I wouldn't trade Marcus Davenport. Look, I understand about the injury issues. I know it's frustrating, folks, because we want to see what this guy has. We want this guy to contribute. The Saints have been to the playoff twice. Marcus Davenport has yet to play in a playoff game, but I see why the Saints are so high on him. I mean, he was making his presence felt in a game against the Chargers, man. He was pushing those offensive line back, and he was trying to get at Justin Herbert. He did have a couple quarterback pressures, and he did have a few hurries in the game. So I understand why the Saints are so high on him. It's just the fact that he can't stay on the field. So I think that's why we are so angry. It's not so much that we don't think he can play. It's the fact that we're so frustrated because we don't see it as much. We only see it in small sample sizes. And, it's almost like if you go to Sam's Club, right? And, they're giving out free samples and you taste the sample and you're like, man, this sample is pretty doggone good here. Where can I find this? And be like, oh, I'm sorry, we're sold out. Well, why you got my mouth all watery and stuff like that for this good, delicious food that I'm eating and y'all ain't even got it anymore. That's kind of what we feel about Davenport, right? We see him flash across the screen and we're excited about what we see, but all of a sudden we're looking at the local paper or we're looking at an article online and it's saying that he's hurt. It just frustrates us. So I don't think it's an issue that he can't play because he can. It's just the fact that he's just never healthy. And we don't want just small sample sizes. We want the whole damn thing. Okay. Once you showed us that you have what it takes to play in this league, we want to see it more because we want you to be a valuable asset to the success of this team going forward. So if he can stay healthy, man, I mean, it is a big if because you have to say a big if because we haven't seen it happen. I think he can be a good player and be, somebody that can actually contribute to this New Orleans Saints team. And I think if he's healthy and he's playing, we wouldn't even have concerns about people like Clowney or other players that we would want to bring in to try to contribute to the pass rush because we have him. This year's Saints team just don't feel the same. 2018 was my favorite team with Ingram. Yeah, I mean, I think when Mark Ingram left, I think he took a spark with him, man. Mark Ingram is, as much as we used to give him, a lot of backlash, especially earlier in his career, he was one of the brighter spots on the Saints team. And I feel like he took that spark to Baltimore. And that's one of the reasons why the Baltimore is so successful. I do feel like Baltimore is a good football team, but I think it has a lot to do with Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram has become like one of the faces of that organization, from some of his post-game antics, from him dancing in the locker room like he did with the Saints, from him being on the sideline, encouraging his teammates. I think he took that spark with him, man. I think that Mark Ingram was so hard to replace because we all knew, like in some of those games where the Saints need to get some of those tough yards, when in some of those games where the Saints needed a spark, Mark Ingram stepped up. I'll never forget that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when he dragged one of the linebackers into the end zone with him, and how the Saints were losing in that game. And all of a sudden, saying like just because of that run by Mark Ingram, man, it lit a spark under the whole entire team, and the rest is history. I also remember against the Washington Redskins, like when the New Orleans Saints were playing them and those two big runs by Mark Ingram, to set up the field goal for the win. And, so, I mean, I think Mark Ingram took something with him when he left New Orleans. And I do feel like this team has not been the same since he's left. I don't think it has anything to do with Alvin Kamara. I'm glad that we kind of hushed that type of narrative. I know people are like, oh, he ain't the same since Mark. He missed his friend. Well, y'all see now, right? It had absolutely nothing to do with Mark Ingram being missing. It had a lot to do with him being injured. But I do feel like Mark Ingram, if he was to still be on the Saints team, I think it would be a completely different story. That guy took a major chunk of passion with him to Baltimore. And I feel like that's something that's missing from the Saints team. We have very good young players on the sidelines who can contribute to this team, and they rather play PJ and bring back Ken Crawley. None of it makes any sense to me. It don't make any sense to me either, you young boy. Your boy Jay. I say young boy. Your boy Jay. It don't make sense, man. It don't make sense to me at all. It's just the fact that they stubborn and they're not willing to go out there and take risk. But I just have to say, you going out there taking risk every week, knowing that PJ Williams could possibly get smoked, knowing that Patrick Robinson can possibly get smoked, but you put those guys on the field. So I don't understand why. It's not like you see some elite secondary play up out them boys or something like that. It's the same issues, and they've been dealing with the same issues and doing the same thing since they've been in the Saints uniform. I don't understand it. Justin says, I wouldn't trade nobody but a draft pick and free agent. I think we can add Clay Matthews and Earl Thomas. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you want to get some veteran leadership, if you want to kind of kick the tires on Clay Matthews, why not? Earl Thomas is another guy, but I don't know, man. You know, I'm kind of on the fence with that. I would call him up to see, you know what I'm saying, to see where his mind is at, to, you know, at least interview him and talk to him and see, you know, what happened in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying, what type of player he can be for my team. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're that desperate just yet. But I mean, anything to improve your team, right? Davenport should have been a second rounder with no pressure to start. Not 2 first rounders. And I think that has a lot to do with it too, Dustin. That's a good point. Will we even be having this conversation if he was a second round pick? Well, I take that back. We probably would, because if we're up here still holding Tre'Quan Smith accountable and this guy was like a third round pick, I mean, we would still have that same type of energy when it comes to Davenport. TJ, he asked about trading Marcus Williams, not Davenport. Oh, okay. Trading Marcus Williams. Thank you, Chosen. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying this in passing, man. I apologize. You know, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about trading Marcus Williams. I don't know if you would be able to get anything for him. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the way that he's playing, I don't know what you would get for him. You know, but I'm not sure. But if you can get something for him, even though I feel like the Saints know that most likely they're not going to bring him back, I would be shocked if Marcus Williams comes back, signs like a 2 or 3 year deal with the Saints. That would be shocking to me. But if you want to go ahead and try to shop him, that would be fine. But I look at it like why a team should depend on one person to make you good. If you a good team, you just good. I don't feel like just one person will make you good, but we can't pretend like some of these players out here aren't the heart and soul of the team. If somebody like Demario Davis, you know, falls down or something like that or gets injured, I'm knocking on wood for that. I mean, there's going to be a huge drop off at the linebacker position, right? I mean, we've heard that before, right? When Mike Detillier was on the show. Shouts out to Mike Detillier. You know, he even said it. He said, I know we talk about next man up and stuff like that. He said, but he said, man, that ain't true. You know what I'm saying? That's just something that players say. He said, you know, there's going to be a huge drop off if somebody leaves or gets injured. And I think that Mark Ingram was a spark. You know what I'm saying? He was indeed a spark for this team. And, you know, is a huge presence. Like, you got to keep in mind, man, Mark Ingram was on the Saints team for, you know what I'm saying, about eight years. You know what I'm saying? For 8 years, Mark Ingram was a New Orleans Saint. Okay, that is a leader in the locker room. That is a guy that you know was going to be there day in, day out, year in, year out, right? So it's not like, I don't know, if somebody that's only been with the team for maybe like a year or two, you know, like, it's not like that. This guy was a guy that the Saints drafted. They drafted this guy back in 2011. And we seen Mark Ingram come from that rookie Heisman Trophy winner out of Alabama, going through those growing pains, to being one of the best running backs in the NFL right now. So That is somebody that can be missed by an organization. Von Bell and AJ Klein gone is why ID changed so much, in my opinion. I guess you can't say that because Von Bell, we know he led the team in forced fumbles. He was helping the Saints get back the ball, getting possessions and stuff like that. AJ Klein, I feel like him and Demario Davis were on the same page. You know, it was very rare that those two guys weren't on the same page. You never seen them really looking at each other about who assignment is what. You had like good solid tackling by both of these guys. So I think there is some validity behind what you're just saying. But I do feel like the Saints, for the most part, they got the same players, man. They got the same players that they've been rolling with for about 3-4 years. And the fact that we still are asking questions about the secondary is pretty damn sad. Saints need discipline. I don't care how much they run the football, penalties, and having turnovers at the wrong time is what really hurting the Saints. You know what? One issue is the holding and the pass interference. It's not really like it was last year, like with the holding caused by the offensive line. Like last year, it was a lot of holding by the offensive line. That was one of the problems with the New Orleans Saints. This year, it's the secondary. So if the secondary can cut down these penalties, I think they'll be just fine. I think they'll just be fine, man. But they gotta be able to find better ways to try to not put themselves in that type of position. Tyrell Davis says they really don't need a trade. They are getting Kiko Alonso and Ty Montgomery back. I would keep away from Earl Thomas. He's a borderline locker room cancer like AB. Yeah, like I said, I would talk to him to see where his mind is. You know what I mean? You really you never know, man. I don't know. You never know what's really going on with any of these players or whatever like that. You never know what was said, what was done. I mean, they brought AB in to talk to him, right? And they realized that wasn't the best decision. So talking to Earl Thomas, I don't feel like it would hurt. But I do think that with the addition of Kiko Alonso coming back off the PUP list, Ty Montgomery coming back off the PUP list, that is one player, and I'm talking Kiko Alonso, that can help out Demario Davis when it comes to the linebackers. Ty Montgomery can get in where he fit in. I'm not saying that disrespectfully, but right now, you know, the way that the Saints are playing and they're structured, kind of hard for me to find a place for him at this particular time. Brandon says, after watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers destroy the Green Bay Packers, I'm convinced that defensive coordinator Dennis Allen is our problem. We have the horses in the stable, but the wrong jockey. Yeah, I agree with that, you know, which leads me to my next point, who I feel like should be the Saints' next defensive coordinator. And people, I seen when I posted this guy picture, you know, it just shows me that people need to kind of understand football a little bit better and also kind of tighten up on the football knowledge. And that was Chris Richard, the former assistant defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. And I say former because when I post this picture, people were acting as if he still was on the Cowboys staff. Chris Richard is not in the NFL at all as of right now, which is very alarming to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can a guy that had the Dallas Cowboys defense pretty damn good last season, I mean, nobody call this man up. I mean, nobody get this guy opportunity after all the trash that we seeing around the NFL defensively. How can Chris Richard not have a job? But Chris Richard is a guy that I would select as the Saints' next defensive coordinator. He had the Dallas Cowboys defense looking pretty doggone good. And I don't think anybody should have an argument with that because the last two times the Saints actually played the Cowboys, with the Saints scored 13 points back in 2018, and then they scored 12 points in 2019, and that was because Chris Richard was actually calling the plays. So I feel like he would be one of those guys that can help the Saints take the defense to the next level. I like him a lot. He's a young guy. I feel like he'll be able to relate to some of those young players. I feel like he can get the best out of those players. He was also coaching the secondary. The Dallas Cowboys secondary was pretty good. They probably had some issues like trying to turn the ball over and stuff like that, but I just don't feel like they had the ball hawks out there. But he had those guys believing in themselves. he always had those guys in the right place to be around the football. And also we know about Lathan Vander Esch and Jalen Smith. I mean, he had those guys out there flying around the field as well. So Chris Richard would be my choice. He would be my choice to replace Dennis Allen. And if you don't believe me, man, go look at that guy's resume. And like I said, people just I think people saw the Dallas Cowboy game last night and they just thought that he still was on the coaching staff. He is not. Okay, Mike Nolan is the defensive coordinator, and he put his staff together, and we know that that's a dumpster fire. But Mike Nolan, we just want to let you know there's always a place for you at the linebacker coaching position. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that he may not be the best defensive coordinator, but he had those linebackers looking pretty damn good. So Mike Nolan, you can come on back, man. You know what I'm saying? We know that you most likely gonna get fired because your defense can't stop a nosebleed. You as the coordinator, but come on back to the Saints as the linebacker coach. We'll be glad to have you. The spark Ingram took with us. Y'all ain't never going to get me back. Thank you for the $2 the spark Ingram took with him. I appreciate that. We definitely missed that spark that you brought to the team. No doubt about that. And Drea Johnson said there's a reason Earl Thomas is not on the team. I do agree with that. We seen it in Seattle. We seen it in Baltimore. So there's a reason why right now a guy with that type of talent and ability is still out there because teams are afraid to pull the trigger. Trail Saints can beat the refs too. Well, you shouldn't put it in the hands of the refs. And I think that we need to understand that as Saints fans. It's time for us to understand that the Saints put themselves in that type of position by not doing the necessary things in order for them to get these leads. And then we find ourselves looking at the referees and hoping that the referees do the right thing. Well, we shouldn't count on the referees. The Saints have to go out there and they have to execute. The Saints will go out there starting strong, and then all of a sudden they'll have about 4 or 5 3-and-outs and putting the team right, the opposite team in a position to make it competitive. And then all of a sudden, like, we got to watch every nook and cranny. We got to dot every I and cross every T and hope that the referees swing the ball, you know what I'm saying, swing something our way or give us a break. Nah, man, you go out there, take it out of the hands of the refs. The Saints have too much talent offensively for us to even be having these type of conversations about the referees all the time. I'm not even going to go that route. Now, do the referees seem like they call Saints game a little bit more closer than some of these other games that I see? Absolutely. But at the same time, you have to ask yourself, why are the Saints putting themselves in that position if they know that the referees don't have their best interests at heart? I think you have enough veterans with Davis and Jenkins. They just need to step up in that leader role, especially Jenkins. Well, hard for a guy to step up in that role at the age of 33, and you've been in the league for about 12 years. I mean, he's just not the same player. I mean, that's just a fact. You can have all the leadership qualities in the world, and I think we all can agree that Malcolm Jenkins is indeed a leader. But at the same time, Father Time is undefeated, and playing over 2,000 snaps like that, man, it's going to take a toll on you. So I can't really knock him for that. But as far as Demario Davis, I mean, come on, man. That man playing out his mind right now. He definitely one of the bright spots on the defense. I never have an issue with Demario Davis at all. TJ, I don't think our corners play the deep ball in practice. That's why they be getting burnt point blank. Yeah, I mentioned that. I had a theory, and people, some people liked it, some people didn't. I said maybe it's the fact that Drew Brees gets all the first team reps, and there are not really a lot of deep balls being thrown in practice. Because I only can assume, folks, if I'm not seeing deep balls being thrown on the field on Sundays consistently, what makes you think that the ball is being thrown down the field at practice consistently? So maybe that is an issue. Maybe the Saints don't see that enough. And, maybe you should try to get Taysom or Jameis some practice reps where they can actually aggressively try to get the ball down the field, or there's that potential threat. So maybe they need to get them involved in practice if Drew can't get the ball down the field consistently. Because I'm just looking at it, man, like, I know if Drew Brees is doing these things in an actual game, I know for a fact he's doing these things in practice. Because Drew Brees is a creature of habit. So It's not like Drew Brees just all of a sudden going to be like, okay, I'm gonna just throw the ball deep in practice, but I'm not going to do it on the field. Nah, Drew Brees is a guy who is calculated. Man, we see Drew Brees doing the same thing, the same routine over and over again, all the time, right? We know about his stretching routine going into the second half. We know about him getting his stretching at the beginning of the games. We know his warm ups. We know him licking his hands and all that kind of stuff. We know about all these different things. He's a creature of habit. So, I mean, I only can believe that the way that he's playing on the field on Sunday is how he plays in practice. I think you have enough veterans already. Read that. Read that. No, I don't care. No, I don't want Clay Matthews. Y'all saw what happened when he was with the Packers and Rams. He got penalties in games. Well, last year he also was one of the leaders on the Rams team in sacks. So we can't take that away from Clay Matthews. Look, I mean, I'm not into the business of nostalgia. You know, I don't want to just have a guy on the team just because we recognize his name. I don't care about that. I want a guy to be able to play. I don't care, you know what I'm saying, about what they did with their old team. And I think sometimes we have a tendency of believing that sometimes. I think we look at a guy and we just recognize their name and we like, ooh, but we think about them during the times of yesteryear, you know, when it was out there, taking a league by storm, being the best at their position. But time has passed, right? And those players become old and they might uh, have missed a step or two. You know what I'm saying? Like they may have dropped off a tad bit. And maybe that player that they once were for their respective team, they're not that player anymore. So sometimes I feel like we are, our own worst enemy sometimes because I think we have this idea about what these players actually are, and they don't end up being that way, you know, for us, and it makes us very disappointed. But sometimes we just have to understand, man, like these guys aren't the same, and there's a reason why they're no longer with their team. Is Mark Ingram a better fit than Murray? I think that Murray is a good fit for the New Orleans Saints, but I just think that they're two different players. Like you don't see Latavius Murray being very vocal. He seems like a very quiet guy. Seems like a role player. He understands his role. He's not trying to rattle the cage. He's not trying to, be that guy. You know what I'm saying? That's always in the media and stuff like that. Now he's just a guy who goes out there, does his job, go home, you know, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. But that's just not his role. I think with Mark Ingram, man, Mark Ingram is a little bit more vocal, a little bit more animated, and a little bit more of a presence than Latavius Murray is. But when it comes to like running the football, like I think Latavius Murray is doing an outstanding job this season. I think everybody should be impressed with what they see out of Latavius. Hell, Magic Beans would be good for Marcus Williams at this point. At least I know where I planted the beans. The guy is always out of position. Yeah, I think this season it gave Marcus Williams an opportunity to make his own reads because Malcolm Jenkins was there as an eraser. And what I'm seeing right now is Marcus Williams is not making the right read. He's not making the right decisions. That's very alarming to me. I thought with Malcolm Jenkins coming in, him having that veteran leadership, him knowing that Malcolm Jenkins is going to be exactly where he needs to be. And for the most part, Malcolm Jenkins is. It's just the fact that Malcolm Jenkins just be getting burnt by tight ends sometimes, and also some slot receivers. But when it comes to like making reads, like when Marcus Williams needs to be on this side of the field, but he on that side of the field, you know, it just tells me that he has a lot of growing he needs to do at the safety position. Or I don't know, man. Like I just feel like sometimes, like maybe it's just the secondary coach and defensive coordinator bringing out the worst in these guys. Because I mean, we look at people like Patrick Robinson and even Malcolm Jenkins, man. They weren't that bad when they went to Philly. You know what I'm saying? Like, so maybe it's the coaching that we need to be very frustrated with. Manti Te'o signed to the Chicago Bears practice squad. Well, man, congratulations to him. You know, we all know that Manti Te'o isn't the best in coverage, but he is a sure tackler. And I think he deserves to be in the league, man. So shouts out to him. I'm glad he got an opportunity. Terrell says 1 crawfish, 1 corn, and no potatoes for Marcus Williams. Yeah, man. Right now, I don't think you can get much for Marcus Williams the way that he's playing. Defensive pass interference call mainly. Yeah, that is true. They get a lot of those, a whole lot of those. What are your thoughts on the Raiders? I think that the Raiders are a good football team, and I think they're finding their way. They're finding their way. They're learning how to win, and I think they have a good recipe for success. You have a guy like Derek Carr, who reminds me a lot of Drew Brees, a guy that's extremely efficient, doesn't really throw the ball down the field consistently enough for me. I think that's one of the reasons why John Gruden is kind of frustrated with him. I think that Josh Jacobs is a really good running back. I think that he's a guy that this team can lean on. And I just think they're going to get better defensively. I think they give up a lot of big plays in the secondary because they're young, and these guys have to learn how to be pros. I think that Damon Arnett is going to be one of those shutdown corners. I feel like Jonathan Abram is going to be one of those guys who we see in the league as being one of the next top safeties. He believes in himself. He's not afraid to go out there and lower the boom. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. I think that the Raiders really have a opportunity to be a force to be reckoned with over the years. I don't think it's a mistake that they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that the game plan was great. And I think as long as they stick to the game plan and stick to what they know, which is the offense is ran by Josh Jacobs' success and not so much Derek Carr, I think they should be fine. But I got a lot of respect for them, man. I think that they're on the rise, no doubt about that. This might be out of the box, but I wouldn't mind the Saints trying to pursue Reuben Foster. Man, I haven't heard anything from Reuben Foster in a while. I know he was one of those guys that the Saints were actually trying to get during draft day, right? The Saints called him. He didn't answer the phone. The 49ers picked up the phone, and and he ended up going to the San Francisco 49ers. But I'm not mad at that because the Saints right after that went go get Ryan Ramczyk. And we see how that turned out, right? So who won that? I would say that the Saints actually won that deal. Okay. But Reuben Foster, he had some ups and downs, man, had some issues. Of course, with domestic violence and stuff like that. I don't condone that at all, folks. I don't condone domestic violence, man. Look, especially, us being in the month of October, we are recognizing Domestic Violence Awareness Month. But, all the issues that have been going on with Reuben Foster, I feel like by the Saints him not picking up the phone for the Saints was probably a blessing in disguise. But I haven't heard anything about him recently. Hopefully, he has taken the time to get his life together. Hopefully, he is focused on getting his life together more so than football. And if he is as good as he once was, coming from the University of Alabama and some of the games I've seen him play with the 49ers, then I wouldn't mind signing him as long as he's not an issue. I don't have a problem with that. Marcus Williams worked on his tackling technique this summer. I see the improvement, but he may have lost his confidence in the playmaking department. I don't know about that. I don't know if he's lost his confidence in the playmaking department. I just think that man, this whole secondary just been playing like trash. I don't just think that is his confidence. It's the whole entire secondary. Tua Tagovailoa is the starter in Miami. He deserves a chance to play and to see what the Dolphins got for the future. Ren, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I feel like if Ryan Fitzpatrick was out there playing like slow, then I think you would have a compelling argument. But right now, this team is 3-3. Okay, right now they're in a position they haven't been in a very long time, and this is something that we haven't seen in the last 21 years. And that's the Miami Dolphins having a better record than the New England Patriots as of right now. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been playing really well. I don't feel like you should have to rush Tua Tagovailoa out there. If the Dolphins were probably like 0-5 or 1-5 or something like that, then I would say bring in Tua. But the way that Ryan is playing right now, I think that you leave him on the field. And it's probably the best thing to happen for Tua. You know what I'm saying? Because if Ryan can actually get some wins and make it competitive, and maybe, you know, the Dolphins can win the AFC East, then maybe, you know what I'm saying, next year, you know, Tua Tagovailoa can actually come in and you know, and been on the bench all this time and get some mental reps and learn how to be a pro and know the playbook and be even more dangerous. It's almost like with Alex Smith for Kansas City, right? The Alex Smith for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, he was a very solid starter, right? He was very solid. Patrick Mahomes was waiting in the wings. It gave Patrick Mahomes the opportunity to get some mental reps. And around week 16, 17, Patrick Mahomes came out there and he balled out. All right. And the Kansas City Chiefs saw that it was time for them to make Patrick Mahomes their starter. They decided to move Alex Smith to Washington, and the rest is history. So I think that as long as Ryan Fitzpatrick is winning football games, I don't think that you should go out there and try to get Tua. I mean, why try to force something, right? Why try to mess up a good thing? Ryan Fitzpatrick, he doesn't have a selfish bone in his body. You can tell he just loves to play the game of football. His teammates love him. I seen when Tua threw those two passes, you can see Ryan Fitzpatrick on the sideline cheering, trying to hype up the crowd in support of this guy. So there's no jealousy or anything like that. And I think as long as you have a player with the character and the ability of Ryan Fitzpatrick, and guys believe in Ryan, no need to go out there and try to get to it right now. No need to rush him into it at all. We need DJ instead of PJ. Yeah. We definitely need that. John Ross is trash, especially with Breeze throwing to him. Yeah, John Ross, to me, we all know, man, he had one of the fastest 40s at the combine. Went to the Cincinnati Bengals out of the University of Washington, but he always was hurt. He was always hurt, and you know, I don't think that the Saints need to try to go out there and get that guy. I mean, you already got a guy like him, and honestly, I feel like he's better than John Ross, and that's Deontay Harris. So no need to do that. The Saints need another speedy, hard-hitting linebacker besides 56. Also, another young, speedy safety. Yeah, I do. I think the Saints need to address that in the draft. Hopefully, they can get another linebacker. Hopefully, Zach Bond can step up and be that linebacker that we hope that he can be. But it's hard for us to actually believe that because the Saints don't use him. They don't use him enough. PJ got to go. His football IQ is weak. I disagree with the football IQ standpoint. I think he's a smart player. He's just not that good. He's not that good, man. I think that he's a good tackler. He probably the best tackler in a secondary on, I guess, probably for the exception of DJ Swearinger. But he just, I don't know, man. If you take PJ Williams' knowledge and you put that into the body of I don't know, you put that into a body of like Marcus Williams or something like that. I'm talking about his tackling ability. And because PJ be in position, he just not that good. You know what I'm saying? Like I rarely ever see like PJ like looking and lost in the lights. That is one thing I would say about him. Like if you see PJ, you see him getting smoked, but he know where he's supposed to be. That I got respect for that in that regards. He just doesn't have the talent, you know what I'm saying, that matches up with his IQ. And it makes him look bad because he doesn't have that talent. I mean, I don't think he's just horrible. I just think that I think the Saints put him in positions for him to fail. If that makes sense. Do you think Kiko will get to start at outside? Yeah, when he comes back, no doubt about it. You don't make a trade like the Saints did for Kiko if he's not going to start. He's definitely going to start when he get back. New York Giants will trade even Ingram to Saints. Evan Ingram, yeah, he is definitely the bright spot of that team. But I honestly don't think the Saints need him. I don't think the Saints need him. You know, I don't think that's the that's the least of the Saints' words. I think we all can say that we are very happy with Jared Cook with the Saints as their starting tight end. Jared Cook is definitely not an issue. Okay, I think that we can count on Jared Cook making a play to a game. You know what I'm saying? We know that we can count on Jared Cook. So Evan Ingram, I don't think so, man. I don't think that that's something that we need. Quine Alexander or Witherspoon would be great additions to the Saints. Yeah, Quine Alexander, yeah, he would be a great addition to the Saints. Witherspoon, a guy that I liked even when he was at the University of Colorado. I thought that the Saints would be able to pick him up, but yeah, I like him, man. He's a big, lengthy guy. You know what I'm saying? A big physical guy. So uh, I think that the Saints would definitely be better with those two guys on their team. Coaching and fundamentals would get us a top 5 defense without changing the lineup. Yeah, I just feel like the defense is just too, man, it's just too Harvard, man. I think ain't nothing wrong with Harvard. You know what I'm saying? Harvard is one of the most prestigious schools in the world. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes ain't nothing wrong with Penn State, or you know what I'm saying, making it, you know what I'm saying, even more simplistic. You know what I'm saying? Like Penn State is still a good college. You know what I'm saying? It's just not thought about as, you know, on a prestigious level as a Harvard. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, you know, you still can come up with these different types of uh exotic defenses, but I just think that they do way too much, man. I think that they need to simplify this defense. Okay, take it to Penn State. Okay, take it to Penn State, and not take it to Harvard all the time, man, because maybe you don't have those guys that with the Harvard mind frame. Now, if this was like the New England Patriots, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like the Patriots, they play a lot of money ball here. You know, they look at analytics, they look at the Wonderlic test, because they understand that Bill Belichick balls up the play calls and the game plan from week to week. And there's certain defenses they're going to have to play, certain offenses they're going to have to play. So he wants to make sure that he has the right guys to absorb that. I don't know if the Saints go that route. Okay, I don't think the Saints looking at Wonderlic tests when they draft players. They looking at guys who are instinctive and can make plays. And I really don't think that this defense is really that bad. I just think that the coaching that they get is not good. Moving forward, once we establish the run, we need to use play action more and take shots down the field. Yeah, I mean, that is something we've been asking for a long time, but I don't know, man. At this stage, do you expect to get that? I don't. I'm gonna read a few more and then we're gonna get up out of here. Recon Legend says, you know our defense is bad when the Saints 9 times out of 10 win time of possession, and we still need a game-winning drive. Yep, that is true. The red zone defense is horrible. What that's probably above about 70%. Deep balls, I mean, the technique and the coverage is horrible. But you know, in the second half, man, the Saints always seem to try to find their way. They are the king of the halftime adjustments, but you have to wonder like why in the first half they just can't get it together. Well, when Drew Brees plays his final game as a New Orleans Saint, I'm going to cry like a baby. I believe most people are too. Yeah, I mean, man, we gonna miss Drew Brees, you know, when he's no longer the quarterback of the Saints. I think that Drew Brees gave us some very, man, I don't even think. I know Drew Brees gave us some great moments, and he made us love this team with you know what I'm saying, with the passion and that we have. You know, well, some of us. I mean, I've been rolling with the Saints for a long time, but you know, he has given us some great moments. He gave us a lot of pride. He made us, you know, happy to wear our Saints stuff, you know, our hats, our shirts, and, you know, our pants, you know what I'm saying? Custom made shoes, our outfits, you know, like he made us proud to be Saints fans. So no doubt about it, we gonna miss him when he's gone. But I mean, but that's just the way that it is, man. You can't play forever. You can't play forever. And I think that people shouldn't expect him to. And I understand how people feel about Drew Brees. You know, it's almost like in some cases, like you talking about God or Jesus Christ. Like they feel like it's blasphemous if you talk about Drew Brees in a negative light. But I do feel like, you know, I mean, he's been in this league long enough, and I think the writing is clearly on the wall, folks. And at this particular stage, even though Drew Brees is still efficient, man, we don't want to see Drew Brees being a shell of himself, man. I don't want to see that, man. I'd rather Drew Brees be out there playing at a high level or a relatively high level, and him, do his patting his kiss to the crowd, or you know what I'm saying, his salute with his hat. You know what I'm saying, like, I want to see him go out like that. I don't want to see Drew Brees going out, people scowling every time they look at him, or like, just, oh my God, man, come on, like, I don't want to see that. I enjoy watching your show, bro. I'm not even a Saints fan. Hang in there. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. I try to make this show interesting for everybody. And, I try to answer as many questions as I can. I mean, even if it ain't about the Saints, I know some people kind of fall in. I got some questions today about the Raiders, the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty knowledgeable about every team, so I try to keep some level of understanding about each teams and what their main storylines are, just in case, somebody might want to come in. But man, feel free to come in anytime, man. Like, I don't care what type, who you cheer for. I really don't. I really don't, man. You're welcome here on the State of the Saints podcast, no doubt about it. Jermaine says, I'm ready to see a mobile quarterback in a Saints uniform. Yeah, I think that's the new wave that's going on right now. And let's see. What's up, TJ? How do you feel about the Saints getting Zeta and Quinn to help with the defense? Honestly, I have to say, I really don't know who that is. I don't know who that is, man. I'm going to be real with you. I really don't know who that is. I don't know. You have to tell me a little bit about him or refresh my memory or something like that. But I don't know who that is. Let's see. Let's go to Ren. Ren says, I really like this show. It's very real and gives me knowledge on the Saints. Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank y'all. I want Horn's son. Oh, you talking about the cornerback out of South Carolina? Yeah. I think that he's a good kid, man. But I got to see more. I know he had a big game last Saturday, and everybody was been talking about it. But I got to see more. Oh, okay, from the Jets. Oh yeah, man. Look, oh yeah, okay. I know you're talking about. Yeah, man, the Jets are, man, dumpster fire, man. You know what I'm saying? The Jets are a dumpster fire, straight up. I think they should have a fire sale. You know what I'm saying? I think they should have a fire sale, man, straight up. Oh, you talking about Dan Quinn? Okay, there we go, Ramsey. Okay, Dan Quinn. Okay. Yeah, I like Dan Quinn, man. I think that Dan Quinn is a better coordinator than he is a head coach. Straight up, man. Some people they lane, man. Like, some people are just better coordinators than they are head coaches. Like Wade Phillips, right? Wade Phillips, Romeo Cornell. I just feel like some guys aren't just designed for the day-to-day operations. They're designed to be able to be a coach for one particular side of the football. DeJohn says, I just joined. I don't know if you answered or not, but how do you feel about the wide receiver from the Bengals that requested a trade? Are you talking about AJ Greene? I mean, this is a reoccurring thing, man. I mean, this is a reoccurring thing, and I feel so bad for him, man, because I don't know, man. T. Higgins right now, you know what I'm saying? He's the number one guy. Him and Joe Burrow seem to be on the same page. And like I said, the Bengals organization are extremely petty. They want to keep guys, and they just want to use them up. It's almost like what Al Davis did to Marcus Allen back in the day. Like, he put Marcus Allen on a bench and just had him out there rotting. And I feel like it's the same way with AJ. Like, allow this man to go somewhere to try to get a chance at a championship. Now, good and got doggone well that the Bengals ain't going nowhere. They not going to the playoffs. They not going to the Super Bowl. And you just wasting this guy's prime years by subjecting this guy to mediocrity. I mean, number one picks year after year. So allow this guy to go out there and go out there and vie for a championship. Why not? I mean, why is it hurting you? Like, you're not even really using him, man. I haven't even really heard AJ Green name mentioned. And I watch my fair share of Cincinnati Bengals football, because I try to keep up with Joe Burrow. I watch the Red Zone channel. So the Red Zone channel, y'all know, if you watch it, it gives you opportunity to see other teams. and see some of the players and the playmakers on the team, I don't even hear AJ Green name mentioned. So allow that man to go somewhere and be able to spread his wings. And I'm not even saying that I want to see him play for the Saints. It's just like certain players you see in the league for a long time, you just want to see them get an opportunity at a championship, okay? I mean, even though Larry Fitzgerald, most likely he's going to retire without winning a championship with the Arizona Cardinals, at least he went to the Super Bowl back in 2007. We've seen him ball out, okay? But when it comes to AJ Green, never really had a true opportunity, never won a playoff game. And keep that in mind, folks. This guy never won a playoff game, ever. Like, man, get that man an opportunity to go somewhere and try to win a championship. But I want to say thank you very much for tuning in to the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you all so much for your comments and your questions. Thank you so much for spending your day with yours truly. And of course, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. And previous episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. During the week, man, we're going to be talking about the Carolina Panthers. The Saints, of course, they have their off day on Tuesday, so not too much to report from Saints camp. But we are going to be breaking down the Carolina Panthers game. Some of the keys to victory that the Saints need in order to get this victory over the Carolina Panthers. And we're also going to be talking about Teddy Bridgewater, about, what we've been saying so far out of him. So keep it locked to the State of the Saints podcast, your place for all things New Orleans Saints. And thank you all so much for your love and your support, and continue to support the State of the Saints podcast by liking and sharing the videos. Till next time, all I got to say is